The new Fishing Wars Memorial Bridge is now open.
Tacoma's Marine Unit is working hard for Tacoma.
And Arts Month is coming soon.
All that and more coming up next on Tacoma Report. Hello, and welcome to this edition of Tacoma Report. I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. The Fishing Wars Memorial Bridge, formerly the Puyallup River Bridge, is open to all traffic and pedestrians. This project removed and replaced 1/3 of the bridge, starting west of the Puyallup River and extending to the intersection of Portland and Puyallup Avenues. The project also replaced 8 bearings, added new streetlights, sidewalks, bike lanes, and a new gateway structure. There is a 20-ton weight restriction on the bridge, meaning that empty trucks to and from the Port of Tacoma may now use the bridge. For more information on this project, visit the city site.
The Landmarks Preservation Commission helps Tacoma retain its character that comes from the buildings that shape the skyline and reminds us of the cultural and architectural uniqueness that makes us Tacoma. Megan Snow has more in this report.
Preserving the cultural and architectural character of Tacoma helps connect the past and present. The city has more than 170 registered historic landmarks that are preserved in accordance with Tacoma Municipal Code 1.42.
We preserve historical landmarks so that we have a record of the past and the people who used to be in Tacoma, as well as their cultures and what they valued. Historic buildings tell us a lot about the materials that they use, so they're artifacts as well as sites that we can see and see what people valued. But they also tell us about the diversity of the city as well.
Anyone can submit a nomination to the Historic Landmarks Commission, yet the building or district must meet certain criteria, and once designated, must adhere to the requirements.
So there are different levels of historical designations. One of them is a National Register, and that is purely honorary unless you're a federal agency. The register that we work with is the Tacoma Register of Historic Places, and that means that we have design review over all exterior changes for properties that are on our register. So what people don't know is that anyone can designate a Tacoma landmark. We have a nomination on our website, and you just fill out the form that makes an argument for why the property is significant to Tacoma's history, and then it goes through the Landmarks Commission for review.
To learn more about Tacoma's history, check out the Tacoma Historical Society or follow the Historic Preservation Office on Facebook. For Tacoma Report, I'm Megan Snow.
To learn more about how to participate on the city's committees, boards, and commission, visit them online.
Fashion styles change every few years, but there's one article of clothing that has held its own no matter what decade, and it's currently on display at the Washington State History Museum. We find out more in this report from Lane Fickey.
The black dress has been a staple in fashion for more than 150 years, and you get a chance to see how it's changed thanks to this new exhibit at the Washington State History Museum, Little Black Dress, A Fashion Evolution. Early on, black dresses were a sign of mourning, or clothes that would be used for working purposes, but that all changed.
In 1926, Gabrielle Coco Chanel co-opted the color black and created the first little black dress, and all bets were off after that. Black went from a color of mourning to a color of sophistication and fashion, and it sort of moved from the periphery into the spotlight.
The exhibit coincides with the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. This is not a traveling exhibit. All of these pieces are from the Washington State Historical Society's own collection.
We chose to embrace the history of fashion. So you travel through a virtual timeline of dresses and learn why they were made the way they were at different periods in history. So sometimes hemlines went up, they went down, but what were the events that caused that to happen?
It's easy to see how the trends have changed over the years, including styles, shapes, fabric types, and the weight of the dresses. There's even a dress worn by a Tacoma woman when she attended the inauguration of President McKinley. And what goes with dresses? Of course, accessories, including shoes, gloves, and handbags. A fun thing about this exhibit is that it's interactive and you get to try stuff on. There's this really cool bowler hat. That fits pretty good. And they also have all these other articles that are from the exhibit themselves. Unfortunately, none of these are my size. In addition to coinciding with the Suffragette Centennial, the Little Black Dress exhibit is also a chance for visitors to the museum to get a unique look at items that may have not been seen before.
We really feel that it's important to allow access to our collections and the magnificent things contained there for the citizens of Washington State, because we are tasked with the collection and preserving of those objects that tell the story of Washington State and its citizens.
Little Black Dress exhibit runs through December 5th. For Tacoma Report, I'm Lane Fickey.
On October 18th, local celebrities and community leaders will model both contemporary and vintage little black dresses in a fashion show at the Washington State History Museum. For information about this event, visit the Washington State Historical Society website. October is Tacoma Arts Month, a community celebration that showcases the arts across our city through events, exhibits, and workshops for all ages.
It's a celebration of arts and culture in Tacoma, and it's an opportunity for anyone and everyone to get out and explore Tacoma, enjoy culture, and help build community. There's hundreds of events happening all month long, all around Tacoma. It's something for every taste, all ages, and the events are here for our community to participate in. Come join us.
Complete details are available at their website, tacomaartsmonth.com. We're going to take a short break.
And when we come back, we'll learn about a program that helps people who find themselves displaced in Tacoma. Stay with us. Earlier this year, the city launched a tenant relocation assistance program. It's designed to help renters when they are unexpectedly asked to vacate because of a change of use, demolition, or a substantial rehabilitation of their dwelling unit. To tell us more is Neighborhood and Community Services, Matthew Jorgensen. Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. So, Matthew, can you tell our viewers what is the Tenant Relocation Assistance Program?
The Tenant Relocation Assistance Program is one of the protections put in place by the Rental Housing Code, which was passed by the City Council in November of last year and went into full effect February of this year. The Tenant Relocation Assistance Program applies to those individuals that are being displaced from their housing due to their housing being changed in use, substantially rehabilitated, or demolished. If they are income eligible, which is, they're low income and income eligible, which is 50% of area median income or below, which is about $28,000 for an individual or $40,000 for a family of four, they would qualify for $2,000 in relocation assistance funds to help with moving costs, first and last month's rent, deposit, those kind of expenses. That $1,000 would come from the city and $1,000 would come from the landlord.
Nice, awesome. And so can you tell us, why do we have the assistance program?
We have the Tenant Relocation Assistance Program to help those individuals that are housing vulnerable. And their housing stability is predicated upon them being able to find new housing if they're being displaced from their current housing. So the Rental Housing Code allows them 120 days to find new housing, but if they're low income and they qualify for tenant relocation assistance, they're able to use those funds to find new housing and improve their housing stability.
Awesome. And can you also, you touched on this a little bit, but can you just elaborate a little bit on how do you use it? How do you use the program?
So how the program currently functions is when a landlord is displacing their tenants, they are serving them 120-day notices, but they're also giving them, those individuals, the packets which gives them the application for the program. So the individuals provide the city with income verification, and if they're found to be eligible, then they receive the funds. And in concert with the Department of Finance, we're able to give those individuals $1,000 in relocation assistance funds from the city.
Wow. And how long does that whole process take from the time they submit their documents?
The program has been live since February, so we're still working out the process, but it's generally about a month or two from the initial application, depending on how much information they have up front and how much follow-up that we have to do on our end. But generally it's about a month or two, which is nice because they have 120 days to move out anyway. So we're able to get them those funds well before they're forced to move out.
Nice. And so Matthew, was there anything else that you would like to share with the viewers that we may not have touched on?
I would say that if the viewers feel that they're being displaced from their housing for those reasons, and the landlords have not given them that 120-day notice or those tenant relocation information packets, to reach out to the city at 311 so we can make sure that they are A, getting the funds that they need, and B, getting the notice that they need to maintain their housing stability.
Awesome. Well, Matthew, we really appreciate you being on the show today and for what your office is doing to help those tenants who may potentially be looking at being displaced. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll come back and visit us again.
Hopefully.
All right. Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you.
Now, don't go away, because after the break, we'll get an update on the rental housing code. Stay with us.
The Rental Housing Code in Tacoma has been in effect since February 1st of this year. The code aligns with the new state mandates that recently took effect for all Washington residents.
We are going to be closely monitoring the rental housing code so that we can make sure that it works for all parties, both landlords, tenants, and the city of Tacoma, because we are all partners in this housing situation. So we want to ensure that the code is working for all parties. So we will be monitoring, we'll be going out and getting information so that if something isn't working, we can look at whether we need to add new protections or if we need to amend the code in any way.
For more information about the city's code, visit them online.
A new group in Tacoma has formed to advocate for and ensure that all Tacoma's Black students receive the highest quality of education and services our community can offer. The Black Parent Alliance meets the third Sunday of the month from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at Peace Community Center. Parents can bring concerns, ideas, and information to share, and they can also hear from other parents. For more information, contact Corbett Mosley or check them out on Facebook. Want to help keep Tacoma green? Then come out on Saturday, October 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and volunteer for Green Tacoma Day. Community members of all ages are invited to get outside, have fun, and engage in restoration activities at one of 14 sites throughout the city. Volunteers will plant trees, remove invasive weeds, and provide a helping hand to our natural green spaces. To find a site near you and to sign up to participate, visit greentacomaday.org.
The community is invited to participate in the development of the Urban Forest Management Plan. Stacy Elliford has more on the different ways to get involved in helping to enhance the trees in Tacoma.
The city's goal is to grow a healthy and sustainable urban forest that is properly cared for and managed. To achieve this healthy system, the city is developing the Urban Forest Management Plan.
The plan looks to accomplish a shared vision for the trees in Tacoma, understanding that benefits are provided by trees, and we want to do an equal distribution of trees for the associated benefits. And so we're looking for a strategic roadmap of how we can achieve that goal.
An urban forest is comprised of all the trees, shrubs, and other vegetation within parks, along streets, in private yards, on empty lots, and in urban natural areas.
So we're looking at a series of steps of getting an understanding of where we're at in terms of the urban forest, because we can't set goals without knowing where we're currently at. So we're doing benchmarking research, analysis of data like tree canopy assessment information, on the ground street tree inventories, but also getting an understanding of the program itself. So city staff interviews, and a large component of the plan is community outreach and engagement.
Starting now and running through November of this year, a series of community meetings are being held that will provide an overview of the planning process and how to get involved.
We're also doing community surveys, so that's where we get an idea of just opinions, viewpoints, ideas, thoughts, and concerns relating to trees in Tacoma.
The goal is to complete the plan by December of 2019. Trees are a valuable resource that provide benefits, including adding to a sense of community and place, reduction of stormwater, and energy savings by shading buildings.
There are a lot of reasons why we see urban forests as important, And also we're seeing that Tacoma values this asset to the community. And we're seeing that through different plans and efforts that are underway for the urban forest. And it's tied into a series of policies and plans that are already in place. We want the plan to tie all that information together.
A healthy and vibrant city and its urban forest cannot be attained without the input and support from the community.
Most importantly, stay tuned for updates on tacomatreeplan.org. That's where any new information, new developments about the project will be available.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacey Ellifrit.
Visit the project website, which has been designed for participants to follow along and engage in the planning process. The Environmental Services quarterly newsletter, EnviroTalk, is now in homes. This fall edition features the Enviro Challengers program, tips on how to prune your trees, and even a recipe to create a vegan gourmet salad bowl. Also, check out the feature on the Environmental Action Plan and see how the city is working towards sustainability. For more information and to view the new edition and the older issues online, visit the city site.
Up next, we'll head out on the water with the Tacoma Police Department.
And we're going to travel to the Port of Tacoma to see what the excitement is all about. Don't miss it.
The Tacoma Police Department spent the summer on the water in and around the Port of Tacoma, making sure everyone has a safe boating and paddling experience. Jason Plute has more on this story.
Hey guys, be safe out here, okay?
The Tacoma Police Department has a marine services unit and helps keep boaters, paddlers, and commercial vehicles safe on Tacoma's waterways.
Well, Tacoma Police Department Marine Unit, we operate on the water here to ensure primarily water safety for everybody, recreational, commercial vehicles. We have a lot of commercial vehicle traffic and a lot of recreational vehicles mixing together in the same space, and so we got to make sure that they operate in a safe manner.
It could be bow riding, it could be a wake violation too close to shore, it can be an overloaded boat, too many occupants on board. Whatever the violation is, we're going to stop them for that.
We try to focus on the education. We don't like to be the mean guy out here cracking the whip, but we try to focus on education first. We all have a whistle, right? Awesome, thank you. Give them friendly reminders, encourage them, educate them, and then hopefully the next time we see them on the water, it makes a difference and they're out here safe.
The Port of Tacoma is the 8th busiest port in the nation, so the Tacoma Police Department partners with the U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Customs, Department of Fish and Wildlife, and port authorities to keep it safe.
We're in a post 9/11 era, there's no doubt about it, and we operate one of the larger ports on the west coast here, so just being out here, having that presence out here, watching for anything that's out of the ordinary, any threats that might hinder the safety of the port, that's one of the other main reasons we're out here.
The officers patrol the waters in a 31-foot safe boat, complete with twin 300-horsepower Mercury outboards and all the bells and whistles needed to help keep people safe, which is usually just fine with the public.
Because of the terrorists and people like that are out there, it's a presence that will abate any of these problems that would happen, I'm thinking.
The boating community is really supportive of law enforcement. So you don't go a day without people waving at you and happy to see you, and just it's a tight-knit community, the boating community, especially out on the Puget Sound.
Oh, I think it's very important, especially in this day and age. And these guys are over the top, and they're wonderful, and they are really good at what they do. And I think the Tacoma Police, especially on the water, is important.
But we're also out here to help people. We do water rescues, people that might be injured on the water, vessels that might be in distress. We're out here for them.
Which isn't to say all the fun and beauty of Puget Sound is only for boaters, kayakers, and paddlers. Call patrolling the waters of Tacoma a fringe benefit of keeping everyone safe.
Your area of operation is just beautiful. I mean, where else do you get to see orcas and dolphins and, people having a good time?
Reporting for Tacoma Report on the Theophos Waterway, I'm Jason Plute.
The department's Marine Services Unit also has a dive unit which handles emergencies under the water, including Wapato Lake. For more information, visit the department's website.
Save the date for Saturday, October 19th for Orca Recovery Day. This day holds the opportunity to join a conservation district and other partner organizations that work to recover endangered orca whales. Over 40 events are being held Pacific Northwest wide. To find out more about the activities taking place in Pierce County or to sign up to volunteer, visit the event website. You see their big green shipping barges on the Sound coming to the Port of Tacoma. But a year ago, there was a chance they'd be headed for LA or Seattle. When Wallenius Wilhelmsen Solutions said they wanted to move their operation to Tacoma, the city, the port, the utility, and the railroad all said yes. But as Annie Pansky learns, $250,000 in tax revenue came with a catch.
Did you even think it was possible at first?
No, actually, it seemed like a pretty insurmountable task.
There are times when you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure we're going to get this done.
A bare piece of land. No water, no power, no track, no permits, no plans. And in 12 months, create a facility capable of processing 100,000 cars?
I guess you can say, the pressure was on.
If there's a lesson to take away from the Wallenius Wilhelmsen Solutions story, it's never say never. When WWS wanted to move their auto transport business from LA to Tacoma in 2018, the port showed them an empty piece of land, the former site of Kaiser Aluminum Smelter, and they saw unlimited potential.
We essentially said, well, that's about the right size. We looked at the rail connections, they were perfect. We said, okay.
The catch was, oh, by the way, it has to be done by the end of this calendar year. We're not sure we can do it.
Nissan set the countdown, but we had the land and the will. Collectively, Tacoma said, we will find the way.
It took people with creative imagination to say, okay, if we're going to operate this and we're going to have this up and going within this 1 year time frame, we may have to think outside the box.
The city, the port, the utility company, and the railroad, all with Tacoma in their name, rallied to make WWS succeed.
Oh, they understand our business, they understand what we need, they understand what our time constraints are, they understand what some of the blockers are going to be. They were able to help us mow those down.
It didn't take 12 months. That wouldn't have been the Tacoma way. We broke ground in July, and by December, WWS was processing their 5,000th car.
I think that people often underestimate our ability. We are a small team, we're lean and mean, but we have an attitude that you never give up, you never give in. And here in Tacoma, that's how we're geared. We can make it happen.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Annie Pansky.
WWS currently has 40 employees and plans to expand to 100. This year, they are on track to process 40,000 cars.
Work on the Haley Project, a $50 million, 186-unit mixed-use apartment building at 1210 Tacoma Avenue South has officially resumed. The completion date is expected in the first quarter of 2021. HQC USA LLC broke ground on the project in October 2017, but had to temporarily halt work to resolve complexities related to foreign financing. When complete, the Haley will feature 5 floors of living space, as well as 2 floors of underground parking in downtown Tacoma. And finally, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This October, we recognize survivors, victims, and family and friends who have been affected by domestic and family violence.
October brings awareness to the domestic violence and issues that are happening really 24/7, 365 days a year. People are suffering. Domestic violence affects children, teens, adults, seniors. There's no discrepancy. It affects a lot of people. It's just a really good time to bring awareness to these issues so these folks can get help. The most dangerous time in a domestic violence situation is when someone tries to leave the situation, and it ultimately can result in death. And so by bringing awareness to the resources that are available, we hope that we can save lives.
If you or someone you know needs help, call the Domestic Violence Helpline. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report.
A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Until next time, I'm Angie Foster.
And I'm Laura Proctor. Thanks for watching.